Really?
Hablas rapidísimo.
No.
A mí siempre habla más lento y australiano.
Really? No, I don't speak that fast.
Por razón que Pablo tiene así, capta muy rápido.
Bueno, pues ella debe entender súper bien. Ella debe entender muy bien.
Sí.
In a couple of weeks, you know, it's just the first week, you're a bit slow and then poof. But everybody says to me now, like, if you go to construction, Suyen, oof, that is hard. That is difficult. Okay, let's begin, everyone.
Okay.
So last week, I was talking about comparatives. Okay, now comparatives are super important, very important. Why? Because you girls are preparing for the PT, correct? And there is an exercise called describe the image. So what do you do on that exercise, describe the image? You need to compare and you need to use the superlatives, correct? Superlatives and comparatives, if you decide to do the IELTS, for example, it demonstrates a very high level of English, okay? So anything from, let's say, 6.5 maybe to a 7, even a 7.5. So comparatives and superlatives are not pre-inter. They're for intermediate people and even upper. So how do we use them? How do we do it? So we say, let's say, you do this very commonly. Sometimes you go, teacher, yes, because it's more easy. No, teacher, because that is more hard. You think because you put more before the adjective that you are comparing. Not necessarily. Okay? So there are certain rules we need to follow. And what are those rules? Well, we say when we have, for example, a short word. So you guys are going to go, what do you mean by a short word? Like, how short? So a short word for us means one syllable. Yeah? Or could be 2 syllables. That is a short word. Okay? And what could be an example of this? For example, let's say we have, clean. Yes? So how this is a short word, it's a 1 syllable, yes? Clean. What am I going to do? I'm going to add ER. And now the word is going to be cleaner. So I don't say more clean. Cleaner. If I have the word, for example, it is easy. Yes? So now I'm going to eliminate the Y, yes? And I'm going to add IER. And so now I say, do it this way. It's easier. What about when you're in an Uber and the Uber starts driving? No. Don't turn left, turn right. Why? Because you say, oh, it's faster, correct? So again, fast is a short word. It's a 1 syllable plus the ER. So we're going to say faster. Yeah. But there are others that we cannot use ER. For example, clever. Yes? Clever already has ER. It is 2 syllables. Clever. 2 syllables. But it has ER. So I cannot use ER. So what am I going to use? More. And so here I'm going to use more, correct, for the long words. And what does that mean? So again, with the long words, 2 syllables. Clever. 2 syllables. More clever. For 3 syllables. Beautiful. More beautiful. What about popular? Popular. More popular. Political. Political. 4. More political. Interesting. Interesting. More interesting. You see? That is how you compare. Okay? And we have also exceptions. So let's have a look at that. So we say more beautiful. We said we've got beautiful. 1, 2, 3. We said, what was it? More political. So political. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Political. And also we have more, what do we say? Oh, popular. So we can say popular. So popular. 1, 2, and 3. More popular. Okay? More difficult. What about if you say amazing? Can you say amazinger? No, you can't. So you go more amazing. Yes? And that's it. So short, long words. We can also, so these are what we call adjectives. These are to describe. Yes? For example, when you say, oh, Sydney is more expensive than Melbourne or Queensland, correct? We know this. So that could be an example. Yeah, to say something. To be able to compare, to be able to consider this as a comparative, you must always use than, or at least some of the context. And as I said to you, we have comparatives that are irregular. Yes? For example, when we say good, we do not say gooder. You always say better. And apart from good, you can also use well. So, for example, to say, how are you doing in English class? I'm doing well. Yeah, it's good. It's okay. Maybe 2 months later, you go, now I'm doing better. Right? So not just well, not just okay, but now better.
Well and good is the same.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no. Because, for example, well usually refers to the person as to how do you feel, as to how do you feel in terms of health. For example, Angela, she might go, I'm not feeling very well today.
But how are you? And it's not I'm well now.
But this is the thing, because with the how are you, right? So a lot of people with the how are you go, oh, very good. Oh, very well. This is different because this is kind of like a hello in a certain way. But to say, if I go, Angela, how are you feeling today? And Angela goes, oh, not very well. She's not going to, she could say, oh, not very good, but not really. Like the not very well is a better response than not very good. So what I'm saying, when you say feeling, you would probably prefer to say well, not good. And when you write, to say, oh, I'm so sorry, I woke up this morning, I'm not feeling well, I need to take the day off. Yes? You wouldn't say, oh, I'm not feeling good. When would you say, I'm not feeling good? Let's say we go to a party. And maybe the girls are like, whoa, 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 right? And I'm kind of like, I don't like the vibe. I don't like the music. Oh, it's kind of boring, you know? And so they go, hey, are you liking the party? Yeah, I'm not feeling that good, to be honest. I think I'm going to go home. It's not how you feel that feeling bad. It's the fact that you don't like The environment. So I think that's where you know, the good comes into play. Just like when you're working, you know, to say, oh, how's the new job? How's the environment? You might go, good, pretty good. I'm feeling good. Like, but you know, if it's not, and you have headaches and whatever, and you feel stressed, and yeah, I'm not feeling very well with the work environment, right? And so then, if it gets good, you know, more good, let's say, don't say that because we don't say that. You go, oh, it's better. How about things? Better. You know, if I go, oh, how are you feeling today? Better. Correct? And if it's bad, we don't say better. You just say worse. So maybe tomorrow, go ahead, how are you feeling? You feeling better? Oh, I'm feeling worse. So meaning not good. Yeah? And we have another one which is far, meaning to be distant. And so, you know, if I were to say, Lucia, where do you live?
Banksia.
Where?
Banksia.
Oh, in Banksia.
Yes.
Okay. You live in Bondi. Lena?
Banksia.
Oh, so you see,
Walleye Creek.
Brighton Lessans.
Walleye Creek.
Walleye Creek. Okay. That's not too bad, actually. But if we were to analyze, right, definitely Lena is closer because she's in Piermont. You guys are probably, let's say, closer and you're further. But if it was public transport, I would probably say you're closer and then you're further. You know what I mean? Like it depends. But definitely Lena is closer. Yeah? And so, yeah, further or farther. Father. So just like dad. Say my father. So that's how you pronounce. So you can say further or father. Yeah, you can say that. Okay? And that, sorry, and those are your comparatives. If, let's say, it's not just about describing people or places, we can also use this in terms of possessions. Yes? To say something. How many hours do you work? Right? And let's say a week, in a week. Okay, let's say. Okay, so how many hours do you work in a week? Okay, so we know that you're students, you're supposed to only work 24, right? But sometimes you do overtime, sometimes you're on holidays, so you can do more hours. So how many hours do you work a day? 4 hours. 8 hours a day. Okay, how many hours do you work a day? 6 hours. And you girls?
10, 12.
10 to 12 hours. You see? So here we could say, for example, right, that because they work in disability, in support. So it's a different schedule. They kind of like work nights, sometimes they work days, they give them free, you know what I mean? Like sometimes they might have 2-3 days free, but then they have to work 5-6 days, you know, so it's a different dynamic. Yeah. So here, for example, when we say, how many hours do you work in a week? So here we can say, for example, hi, Alice. Hi. Angela and Lucia work more hours than we're going to say Lena. Now here, we can also, so here you see, we're talking about hours. And it says here, Angela and Lucia work. So it's not the fact that I'm describing the characteristics of a person. We're talking about here an action. And we're talking about the hours. So Angela and Lucia work more hours than Lena, right? Now, I can also do the negative because if you see this, this sentence is an affirmative, correct? So, being an affirmative, we can also use the negative, because we could say, Lena works many hours, but, and look what I'm going to do, not as many as Angela and Lucia. This is affirmative.
Yes.
Angela and Lucia work more hours than
and
Lena. Here,
Negative
this
Lena.
is a negative sentence where I'm saying Lena works many hours. This is your affirmative, but, so now I'm doing negative, not as many as. And so here when we go not as many, what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Many is
When I go many, not as many what?
many due to
What are we talking about? Not as many what?
when you talk the many is hours.
Hello, how are you? Okay.
Oh, why?
Oh, thank you. Yes, Danny, how are you feeling? Better?
Sí, ya me mejoré, pero estoy en crisis, ¿no? Como depresión.
Okay. What happened now?
¿Ah? Me ha dado re duro. Es cierto que ya no me entiende tan bien.
No.
Porque
What?
me ha dado re duro. O sea,
Oh, okay. Yes.
Super hard.
Yes, I'm going through a very hard patch, being difficult. Okay. Okay.
No he estudiado, no he presentado el examen.
Oh my God. You've got to do that soon.
No quiero, tengo miedo.
Yeah. Anyway, okay,
Bueno,
I'll see you. Thank you for coming
tengo
to
que
say hello.
venir.
Yeah.
Pero ahora es que, por ejemplo, me salió, iba a venir, o sea, desde hoy ya a estudiar, dije, bueno, voy a estudiar, pero me salió un trabajo para mañana y para el miércoles en la noche.
Okay.
Entonces me voy a volar.
Okay. Friday. Why don't you come Friday? Okay, lunchtime if you want. Okay, see you then. Yeah.
Chao.
Bye, see you later. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Bye, darling. Many. What are we talking about? Hours, right? So here, because I have the idea, Lena works many hours. This is my idea. But not as many as Angela and Lucia.
What is the pronoun in Spanish? No as many as. Pero no
No tan, aquí sería no
Tanto.
tantos, porque esto es tan y esto es como.
tantos como Ángela y Lucía.
Yeah.
Ok, ya entiendo.
Pero digo tantas porque dice many. But okay, let's change the idea. Let's say, for example, Lena, how tall are you? How tall are you?
¿Qué tal?
1.67.
167. And you, Lucia?
Tan alta. 1.63.
163. Okay, so look. So we can say, for example, another example. Lucia is tall, but not as tall as Lena.
Ok.
¿Sí? Pero no tan alto como Lena.
Yes, because when the negative refers you use hour, but when the first hour is many.
This is what I'm saying, like
Many,
because
you need
because
to
the
change
context
idea.
changes. But
It
what I'm trying to
depends.
show you, it's not limited to only description. You can use the comparatives for anything you want.
The question is for us. Why?
But wait a minute, here I have two as because it's negative. Do not get confused with other as to say, oh, I work as a teacher. This is not the same. Or to say, oh, I have many things to do, such as . Also, don't get confused. This is clearly a comparative because I have as and then as.
Always.
Always.
you need
For
to put
comparative.
as.
In negative, yes.
It's possible, for example, not as, simply, like, no.
No, because your like is like, for example, when you go like, I have so many things to do, like this. When you go such as this, it's the same. That's the same.
Yeah.
But this is not this. This is not as. Okay? So that's what we saw last week. Okay? If you want to copy now.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to erase. Did you bring a book, Suyan, to take note?
Yeah.
Okay, take note.
Then,
Go for it.
When can I use many?
So many is for countable things. When you want to say a large quantity. When you say, for example, do you have children? Yes, I have many children. Do you have a lot of students? Yes, I have many students. Do you work a lot of hours? Yes, I work many hours.
More
It's-
free, for example, or is possible
What do you mean more free?
más de tres, quiero decir. Más, cuando hago referencia a algo.
No.
cantidad,
But quantity is not more than 3.
Okay.
It's much more than that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's much more. Okay, copied? Yes?
Finish.
Okay, so I can erase. Okay. Okay, so these are our comparatives.
Superlative.
So here with superlatives, we aren't comparing anymore. Okay? Here we're talking about, let's say, the tallest, the smallest, the highest, the shortest, the lowest, it's the maximum or the extreme of anything, right? So in this case, if we were to say, how tall are you, Suyan? 60. Okay, so 1.60 meters.
Yeah.
And you, Alice, how tall are you? No, not 100. A meter? 58, all like me. Okay, meter 58, like myself. So in this case, okay, we could say that Alice and I are the shortest. And Lena is the tallest. Correct? So that means that Lena is taller than everybody. And Alice and I are shorter than anybody else. Okay? So superlatives, we must always use the. So always the first, because this indicates the maximum. And so here, when we said we add ER, remember here? So now what are we going to do? So here I have clean. It's still a short word. I'm going to add est. And so now I'm going to say the cleanest. So with short words, we're going to add EST. If in this case we have easy, so we have our easy, correct? We're still going to eliminate the Y, but now we're going to add IEST. And so here I'm going to say it's the easiest. Yep. And here we have fast. Right? Yes. And so we're going to say the fastest. So just like when you're driving and you use the Google Maps, and what do? It shows you the fastest route, but you must pay tolls.
Mm-hmm.
So how you must pay tolls, it is usually more expensive. So it's the fastest, but it also is the most expensive. Correct? If you don't pay the tolls, the road is usually the longest, and so you take more time. Is correct? Okay, good. And here, if the word is, let's say, long or different, so here when we said more clever, because we can't say clever, but now, because I'm not adding I can say here, this one, the most clever, maybe you want to say that? The most. So this replaces more. So you can say the most clever. But you could also say the cleverest. Because now I have clever, but I add EST, not ER. So you could say the cleverest. Yes? Here, this one, we're going to say the most beautiful. The most political. The most popular. Etc., etc., etc. And what happens if we have better? What are we going to say? The. So always the, because nothing is better than that. And you go, the best. When you go, that was the best dinner I have had. Now, this doesn't mean forever. This means until the next experience. Right? Because maybe you might go, for example, to see a concert. And you might go, wow, that was the best concert ever, right? You felt good. It was a good vibe. The singer was singing. You had a great time. But then you go to another concert, and maybe the screens and the show and the singer gives all his heart. That was the best show ever. So the one previously, it was the best, but now you've changed because this one is better, right? So that's where you go, the best. Yes? You might go, hey, you got to buy pastries in ta-ta-ta-ta because they have the best tiramisu. Maybe. They have the best tres leches, right? Maybe, right? And here, if it's bad and it goes worse, and then you go, the worst. So here, the worst means horrible, disgusting, terrible. Like if you go, how was your date last night? Oh, the worst. Why? What happened? Oh, this guy, it's like, oh, he said, oh, why don't we pay the bill 50-50? Like you pay your half, I pay my half. Huh? Correct? And then he wanted me to go, to his house. No, come on. I'm better than that. Right? The worst. And to say, for example, we have far further. So I think in this case, Alice, she lives the furthest. Yes? She is the furthest away, meaning she lives, out of all of you, she is the one that lives far. Okay? So that is comparatives, and this is superlatives. Yes? Okay, good. Okay, so let's see an example. Yeah, let's see an example of this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, you guys, get up. One line.
No importa, yo lo ayudo. Ahora te da calor.
What happened? You feeling like crap? Yeah. Okay.
Worse.
Okay, worse. Okay, paying attention. Okay, let's see. So, come here, Alice. Right? Let's see. Yeah, most probably, right? So this is, yeah, good. So what can we see here? So we're going to say that Alice is the
The most.
no, not the most.
Alice is.
Word short, one syllable.
No, it's it's smallest.
No, not the
smallest.
smallest, because smallest is like this.
Sure.
Short.
So Alice is the shortest, and Nina is the tallest. Okay, good. How old are you?
45.
Okay, and you?
34.
Okay, and you?
31.
31. Okay, good. Yeah, let's go. Lina, you're at the front. You're the baby. Okay, good. So now, look, we've switched the line, correct?
Yeah.
So now what do we say? Lina is the youngest, and Alice is the oldest. Not really. I'm the oldest, right? Yes, because I'm 50. Correct?
Okay,
So
my sister.
I'm the oldest. Okay, let's see now. So, how many children do you have? No children. No children? No children.
2.
2. And I have 5. Right? 5. So, what can you say about me? So here, look at this. We can say, for example, so
the teacher
we
have more.
the teacher have or has?
The teacher has more kids than.
Yes, but when you say more kids, so look at this. You go, the teacher has more children, say kids, than Alice. Correct?
Mhm.
And we could say that Alice has, because we go, I have, you have, we have, they have, he has, she has. So Alice has less children
But
than the teacher, correct?
Yeah.
Than Nicole. Now, question. Who has the least children?
Teacher.
Oh,
Alex.
we don't know. Oh, we can say.
Less.
Oh,
So you see, this is the least. This is the superlative.
Yeah,
It comes from less.
Yes.
So who has the least children? In this
Alice.
case, the answer is Alice.
Pendejo.
Has.
De puta.
Has the least. And I don't need to say children again because we've already mentioned it in the question. Okay? Now, we could say who has the most children. In this case, it would be the teacher has the most. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So also you could say which city in Australia has, to say, the most immigrants? Sydney, right? What city in Australia has the least? Probably the Northern Territory, right? Darwin.
mine.
No, not even. I would say Darwin because Darwin is, like it's purely or very high in Aboriginals. You know what I mean? So I don't think you'd have a lot of foreigners. Tourists maybe, but not, immigrants like here in Sydney living, right? So you see, you can use this idea for everything that you want. You could say, for example, what is the most interesting place, most delicious restaurant? And then you can do the opposite, the least. The least, meaning horrible. No, disgusting. Don't go there. That's the least,
Yeah.
Do you understand? So here you're comparing, but this is telling you exactly, like more than this, you can't get. So again, Piermont. So again, and Alice in Hertzville. So I think Hertzville and Wye Creek probably pretty similar.
Yeah.
40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's say, for example, we would say that Lena lives the closest to school. And probably Angela, Alice, and Lucia are the furthest. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sit down.
Nicole, tengo una pregunta que nada que ver con esto, pero de pronunciación.
Okay.
¿Puede ser que cuando hay dos vocales juntas, la segunda siempre queda nula?
Not
Sí.
always. No, not always. Usually, yes, but not always. Okay. Now let's see another example. Oh, Lucia went to the bathroom.
Teacher, how is the pronunciation? Least.
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 So you
The
see
same-
the
the
E?
least.
Yeah, the A is not, it's like a long E. So it cancels the A, definitely.
It's the same, for example, list. The list. Una lista.
No, because that one is E. So that's short. So you say the list. List. This one is least. Least. E. Yeah, it's super long.
Ay, se lo puso no drink agua.
What?
Yo estaba tomando agua y ahí dice,
Oh, no, don't worry about it. It's okay. Okay. So now we were talking about the test. So let's see an exercise. Give you an idea. Okay, let's say, for example, okay, so how many brothers and sisters do you have, Angela? A brother and two sisters. Okay, so can you name them from top to bottom in age? Okay, so who's first?
Herman,
Herman, okay.
Angela,
Angela, okay.
Lucia,
Lucia, yeah.
Alejandra.
Alejandra. Okay, so those the four siblings. Yes? So when we say siblings, we're talking about brothers and sisters. Correct? So Germán, Angela, Lucia, and Alejandra. So how old is Germán? 38. And you're 36. 34. Lucia is 31. And Alejandra? 30. Okay. Oh, you guys are all together. Yeah, pretty much together. Especially these two, huh?
yeah.
So what can we say about this? So when they ask you, for example, do you have brothers and sisters? You can say, yep, we're four siblings, three girls and a boy. Siblings means brothers and sisters. Okay? So three girls and a boy. Yes? You could say, my brother, so you could say, my brother Germán, right? So is the oldest. Or if you want, you can also say the eldest. Eldest is the same as oldest. So when I say, for example, so now look at this. You see, Angela is 34. Germán is 38. So Angela can say, for example, to say, Germán is the eldest. He's 4 years older than me. Or not only older, you can say older. Right? So now you're not only saying, or another way that you, because there's never just the one answer. So you could also say, my older brother, Germán, is 4 years difference to me. Yes, you could say that too. And you could say, so here you're saying, my brother Germán, but you cannot say, my older brother Germán is 4 years older, because you're repeating yourself. So it doesn't make any sense. You see what I mean? Now here, Angela. Who is Angela? What would you say? So here, of course, Alejandra is going to be the youngest. But what happens here with Angela and Lucia? What are they? Angela and Lucia, what are they? Yeah. Huh?
More old.
No, don't say more old. So Angela is older than Lucia. Okay. What about if we say that Angela is the second oldest? Right?
Yeah.
And then in this case, you could say Lucia is the second youngest. So you can do that too. And you could say Germán is the oldest, correct? So here, if Angela is responding, so Angela would say that Germán is the oldest, and we could say by 4 years. If she says that Germán is the oldest by 4 years, she's saying than her, because she is the one speaking. But if Lucia, her sister, is the one speaking, she would say probably, Germán is the oldest. Our brother Germán is the oldest, right? By maybe, she could say 4 years with Angela, but 7 years with me. So it all depends who is talking. See what I mean? Yeah. Here also, you could say Germán is the oldest at 38. Angela is the second oldest at 34. Lucia is the second youngest, because then you go from the bottom. You always halfway, you start working your way up. Okay? Okay, good. Give me an example with your family. Yes, with your brothers. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes.
Okay, give me an example. You have brothers and sisters? Alice, you too? Okay, give me an example. Yep, do it. Now, right now.
Okay.
Like this. What can you tell me about your siblings? Look at the example. Okay. Done?
Como de todos los hermanos, de many brothers or
Okay, so look, I always say don't overcomplicate yourself. Okay, when you're learning to try to do things, keep it simple.
okay.
Get to know the simple structures first, because if you start doing too many things at once, you're going to start feeling frustrated, right? But how do you say that? Interesting. So you could say from all of my. Now, is it brothers and sisters or just brothers?
No, brothers.
Oh, okay, so from all of my siblings,
Siblings. Ahí está eso cuando le toca.
yeah, siblings, because this means brothers and sisters, doesn't matter the sex.
Seriales.
Siblings.
Como si hermanos en general.
Yeah. Nina, ready? Okay, tell me.
I have 3 siblings.
Okay.
Fabian,
Yeah.
Erika,
And myself.
and myself.
Or and I.
Fabian has 34 years.
No.
No?
You can't say have for the age. That is the verb to be. It's basic.
He's,
Yeah.
He's 34 years old.
Okay.
Erika 31
Okay.
years old. And myself 23.
Okay.
Fabian is the oldest.
Yeah.
Erika is the second oldest.
Okay.
And I am the youngest.
Okay. But you said 4. You mentioned 4.
No, 3.
Oh, just 3. Fabian, Erika, and Lina. Okay. So you're the youngest. Mm-hmm. So Fabian is 34.
34.
So how much older is he than you?
For 11.
So he's 11 years older.
11 older than me.
Yeah, you don't need to say that because it's obvious. Like, what I'm saying is, like, I also have other siblings, right? So I have 2 ways to say. When people say, it depends whatever I want to say. Okay? So, for example, when people say to me, hey, do you have brothers and sisters? Yes. And so I go, yeah, I have a younger brother. He's 5 years younger. See? That's an answer. But I also have 2 older brother and sister, which are from my dad's first marriage. So yeah, they're also my brother and sister, right? So it depends. Like sometimes I might go, oh, yes, I have 2 brothers and a sister. I have an older brother. He's 63. And I have an older sister, 62. And my younger brother is 45. See what I mean? And so then, you could say, oh, so usually go, oh, your brother is much older. So now not just a little, because I'm 50 and he's 63. So it's 13 years. You see what I mean? So they go, oh, your brother is much older than you. Yeah, he is. And I go, but my youngest. So when I go my youngest, meaning my younger brother, right? Because he's the youngest. But the youngest is only 5 years difference. See what I mean? And you can do that with everything. If you have children, if you're talking about mum and dad, whatever, like you could say, oh, my father is older than my mum. Now, if there's a big year gap, right, he's much older, or you can say younger or much younger. Okay? Good. Alice, what did you put?
Yeah, I have
I have what? Sorry,
siblings.
5 siblings.
Yeah.
Okay.
My older sister
Yep.
is 47 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. Me is 45.
No, you can't say that. You can't say me 45. No, no, that's sorry, but that's horrible English. It is. You can't say, oh, me 45. What is that? I'm 45. So my older sister is 47. I'm 45. What else?
My younger sister is 42.
Good. Excellent.
My younger brother is 40.
Okay.
My another younger.
So you see, no. No. That's where you ruined it because you guys are 5. So again, going back to this example, look. Okay, so who is the oldest? What's the name of your sister, the oldest?
Limit.
Okay, we're gonna say Lee. And who's after? Sorry, you, right? Alice. Okay, Alice. Okay, and then after?
And Yen.
Yen. And who? Yep.
Yeah. And Fong.
And Fong. Okay, so here we have your brothers and sisters, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So how old is Lee? You said 47.
Yeah.
You're 42. Jen?
I'm 45.
You're 45.
Yeah.
Sorry. And Jen?
42.
22.
42.
42, sorry. And who?
40.
40. And Fong?
38.
38. Okay, good. So instead of and another and a older brother, younger, because it gets confusing. So if you say, for example, Lee, correct, so you could say, my oldest sister, yes, is 47. I'm 45. The third oldest. See? Because that's the one that comes, because always you do the youngest. Sorry. The youngest is 38, right? Or to say my what is it? My youngest brother is 38, correct? And then this one would be the second youngest is 40. See what I mean? So here, now you have all the information organized. Instead of saying, and another brother, and another sister, like, you know, you lose count. But if you go, so the oldest is da 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 da, or you could say, my oldest sister, Lee, is 47. I'm the second, so you could say I'm the second oldest. I'm 45. Jen is the third oldest and is 42. Who is the second youngest and is 40, and the youngest is 38. Makes sense. You go, oh, okay, gotcha. I understand now. There's an order. See? So always your ideas need to be like this. Okay? Let's have a look at an example. Yeah? Okay, so this is the website of PTE, correct? So if we have a look at the describe the image in the speaking section, you will see exactly what you need to do. Now remember, they give you 25 seconds to look at the image and to be able to respond speaking. So you have to be quite fast. And this is why it is very important, correct, to that's why it's very important to that's why it's very important to follow the rules of comparative and description. This is what they're asking you to do. Okay? So if we go here, correct? We go to speaking. And we go to here, describe the image. So here you see we have longest suspension bridge by country. This is the information they are looking for. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of you, right, you've got height, you've got length. Height as in tall, length and is as in how long. This is a real test, like a real example from the test. I've seen students go, oh, I got that example. I got that exercise. Now, question is, a lot of people go and they start responding this one. But that is not what the image is asking, because it's saying, this is the title, longest suspension bridge by country. So what is the information that they want? This one. So 4 sentences. What can you tell me? Right. What can you tell me? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Just do it right. Keep it simple first. Write it down. Sorry?
I don't understand. Four
Sentences
The
Yes.
superlative,
about,
the superlative and comparative, whatever.
exactly,
Okay.
about the diagram. Look at the diagram.
okay, I get it.
What can you tell me?
Okay.
Ya le entendí, ya le entendí.
Good.
Is, the leg is muy largo.
Length, yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
¿Está comparando los puentes más largos y las torres más altas?
Pero por eso te digo, tú tienes que ver 2 aspectos.
Así, veo lo de los países, pero quiero saber para entender el cuadro. Es los puentes
Esta
más largos.
actividad es igual a la de tus hermanos.
Sí, eso entendí.
Ya.
Yo quiero tener, digo, torres y puentes más largos, así dice.
Bueno, está hablando de height, altura,
Sí.
and length es largo.
Está.
Pero, ¿es necesario la información del alto?
No sé, por eso te pregunto.
Pero
Habla
¿cómo
de
que no
metros,
sabes?
¿verdad?
¿Cuál es el título?
Ah, no, ni leí el título.
Ahí fallamos, ¿ves?
Ah,
¿A qué se refiere el título?
no sé.
Suspensión.
Prismas, puentes de los
Yes.
países, los puentes de los países.
Yep.
A
It
los
says-
metros, porque en verdad los
It's-
metros de las alturas.
But look what it's saying. Longest suspension bridge. Longest. Entonces, ¿a qué se refiere? A
Las distancias.
largo.
Claro, sí, porque yo digo que dice
Entonces, que
metros,
tú me
metros.
digas, el más alto es esta, el más bajo. No me interesa,
no.
porque el largo es de eso es lo que el diagrama me quiere mostrar.
¿Puedo usar metros también o no?
Yeah, of course, it's saying meters. It's telling you meters. Yeah?
Sin saber inglés, por ejemplo, pero guiándome así, digo, tengo dos variables, metros y metros, decía. Entonces tenía que comparar las variables, matemáticamente hablando, ¿no? Yo vi
Oh, well.
así.
Algunas personas lo hacen así, los que son ingenieros, pero dime tú eres capaz de hacer eso en 25 segundos?
No, yo iba a decir, por ejemplo, Japón tiene más metros, o el puente tiene más metros que así, lo iba a comparar así.
Ya, y es
Eso.
una comparación,
Eso,
absolutely.
era una comparación. Sí,
Yeah,
comparar, pero quería saber
absolutely.
qué variable usar, si estaba bien lo que estaba
Ah,
diciendo.
dale. Por eso hacemos la actividad para poder corregir,
Okay.
right? Yeah, that's why we do the activity. Come on, you. Today you're not a person?
Poor Angela. For example, one example, does Japan have the lenses than another's? No, it's that.
Again, what did you put?
But Japan have
No.
the longest
Japan is singular or plural?
singular.
So why are you saying have?
Because
Is it possible Japan has more metros than USA?
No.
No?
That doesn't tell me anything. You're not saying anything.
Japan has the lenses.
So this is what I'm saying. With your brothers and sisters, organize your ideas. Japan is what? So you could say, right? So here, which is 2,000 meters? So Japan is what? The? No.
No.
No, the longest.
Okay. And so on the, what would you say Turkey is?
Second.
The second what?
Second longest.
The second longest. And what about USA? Is the?
Short longest.
No.
No, porque longest es lo máximo.
What's the opposite of longest?
Caraja, que bueno mi cabeza. Largo, corto, short.
The shortest, correct? So you would go, USA is the shortest. Now, question. You said Japan is the longest.
Yeah.
How much?
1,000.
No.
How much?
Japan.
Japan, which one? USA or
Japan.
only Japan?
How many meters?
2,000. 2,000 metros, quiero decir.
Say it.
2,000 metros.
Meters.
Bueno, meters.
Exactly. Right? So here, the first conclusion would be that Japan is the longest. And so here, when you want to say the numbers, yes, always we're going to say at, and always you will say about. So kind of like more or less. Do not be exact, because you cannot be exact. So you say at about, at around, yes. You could say approximately. You could say also more or less. Right?
Yeah.
What else could we say? Oh, somebody said to me today, can we say also at almost? Yeah, you could say that. At, so all of these have to say at, always. So at almost, whatever. You see? And so you go, and what? 2,000 meters. And here, long.
Yeah.
Got it? Okay. Now, continue. Give me 3 more. You.
Honesty?
No, I want you to write. You have to write it.
How many? 3? 3 examples?
4.
¿Cómo se dice? Pocos. Yes. Yes.
So this is kind of like the dynamic, you know, like at least for the test that you need to know. But it's not just for the test. Like we use this for everything. How many times do people ask you, oh, what's Australia like? You know, I know a lot of you go, oh, it's very expensive. Which is the simple way. But it's different if you say, oh, it's much more expensive than Colombia. To say, for example, you could say the schools are very expensive. The visas are very expensive, right? To say, for example, also it's cheaper to live far from the city than to live closer, right? The closer you live, the more expensive it is. So we use comparatives for a lot of things. And then what about to say, oh, I want a recommendation. Oh, you know, I want to go out. Let's say Lena says, oh, I have my anniversary coming with my partner. What places can you recommend? What would you say? Okay, so what do you like? Oh, seafood. Oh, where's the best place to eat seafood? For example.
The best place in
Right, exactly. So constantly we are using this. You finished? You done? Yes? Lena, what did you put? Listen.
The longest bridge is in Japan.
Okay.
No?
Yeah, it's okay.
The
Oh, wait,
smallest-
okay, so yeah, the longest bridge is in Japan. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
The smallest bridge is in USA.
Okay, but it's not the smallest because the contrary of long is not small. Small is this. Let's say this is small, right? But if I go, this is bigger, correct? So you see what I mean? But if I'm talking about this and then I'm talking about that, long, short.
Sure. The bridge in the Japan bridge is more longer
Yeah, you can't say the Japan bridge.
than the Japan bridge.
No, you can't say that. So you would say the nationality. The Japanese bridge.
Okay, the Japanese bridge is more longer than USA.
No, you can't say more longer. No. We just talked about the rules. Is long a short or a long word? Long. How many syllables?
One.
It's longer. The Turkish branch.
The Turkish. Okay, good. Yes. The Turkish bridge. Yes. Bridge. Yeah.
Is long, but not as long as Japan.
Oh, the Japanese. I like that example. I like it. It's good. Look, she says the Turkish bridge. Sorry, it's a name. I made a mistake. If it's a name, always with capitals. Yes. So to say the Turkish bridge, yes, is long. But she says, but not as long as the Japanese bridge. Or not as long as the Japanese. Or we could even say Japanese one. Correct? We've talked about that, where we don't need to repeat the bridge. Good. That's good. That's a good one. I like that one. Okay. What else do you have? Do you have something different, Suyen? Okay. What did you write? What did you write?
A ver, voy a agregar aquí que no le puse cuenta.
Okay.
The Turkish bridge
Yep.
has 500 meters less than USA.
Not has, is.
Okay, is
So wait a minute. Less.
lesser.
You sure? According
Yo
to
con Estados Unidos, mi para el culo. No, más, puse menos.
yes. So you would say the Turkish bridge.
Sí, pero porque yo no quise con Estados Unidos, con Japón.
The Turkish bridge is 500 meters longer than the one in the USA.
By possible.
Or if not, you would have to say longer than the American one.
Yeah.
Okay? But yeah, if you do less, then of course you would say the Turkish bridge is 500 meters shorter, not less,
No.
shorter than the one in Japan. Yeah. What have you got?
Teacher, in this exercise, this is the FPP.
Yeah.
Is tall.
It's speaking.
But I
Can I?
can I speak, for example, this example?
Well, this is how you're supposed to respond. This is what you need to do.
Just comparatives and superlatives about this picture.
So if this was a real PTE, right? Describe image. So you would go, for example, as I said to you, you've got 25 seconds to do the analysis of the exercise, and then you have 40 seconds to speak. 40 seconds. In 40 seconds, you have to be like this. And so, for example, let me just get this charging. Give me a sec. Right? So here, for example, you would say, the image is showing longer suspension bridge by country in Japan, Turkey, and USA. It shows the longest is Japan at about 2,000 meters long. It also shows the second longest is Turkey at about 1,500 meters long. It shows the shortest is the USA at about 1,000 meters long. In conclusion, the image is showing the longest suspension bridge by country. And that, see? Yeah, that's a 10.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You approve.
You passed. Not approved. You passed. Yeah, absolutely. But that's what it's asking you to do.
For example, Japan bridge have the longest.
Have. Y continuamos.
Has, pues.
Have.
Y mire,
Ah, te
lo,
gusta
y lo-
el verbo to be, ¿no?
y lo tengo copiado con has.
Yeah, okay.
Japan bridge has the longest.
Okay, so you
than-
can't say the Japan bridge because you're describing. So you need to say the Japanese bridge.
The Japanese bridge has the longest than the USA.
No, you cannot say that because you need to say the Japanese bridge is longer, not has, because
Is.
has, you can only say has when you're talking about the meters, maybe, you know,
Ah,
Okay.
but not really because you're describing.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is it's very different to say Nicole has, let's say, 3 more children than Alice
But
because
it's
I
only-
have the children.
yeah.
But here you're talking about numbers, you're talking about facts. So the bridge does not have anything. It's a bridge.
Mhm. If, for example, the USA bridge has many meters, but not as many as Japan.
No. That would be like Lena said. The USA bridge is long, and it's not the USA bridge because USA is what nationality? You're using the nationality. So if you want to use the country, you have to say the bridge of the USA
Mhm.
is long, but not as long as the bridge in Turkey. That you could say. But you can't say the Japan bridge. When you say Japan, it's a country, not a nationality, not an adjective. It's a thing. So you can't do that. And if it's USA, again, it's a country. So what's the nationality? American. Okay? So again, you could say the American bridge is long, but not as long. If you want to use the positive, then you would say the American bridge is longer than bridge. Was it? No. I don't think it was that bad, was it? Really?
Yes, because the example is like that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Anybody got anything else different? Do you have anything else different, Julia? Yeah.
Why no se pone it? ¿Por qué no se pone but, it, please? Por ejemplo, the Turkish bridge is long. El puente de Turquía es largo. Pero no es más largo que Japón. No hace referencia al, y no tengo que poner pero y hay un it. No.
But the but is a connector.
Okay, no
You're
es
connecting the
necesario.
two ideas, so no, not necessary, really. Yeah, not really. The Turkish bridge is long, but you could say it, but it is not as long as. But you're being repetitive because the but is telling you that we're talking about this. If you stop the sentence, absolutely, I would say, yeah, you need to start again. Every time you start a sentence again, of course, yes, you need to. Mhm. Okay?
No sabía
Good.
que podía usar el not solo así, sin poner el sujeto.
The not yes because it's not no.
Claro.
The no you can't, but the not yeah. Okay? Good. Let's have a look. So you've got to work.
Yes,
No
my
problem.
sister too.
Okay. So you see here, this is exactly the same. Okay, it's a different image. You're looking at different things, but you're going to do the same thing. Now here, it's talking about consumer expenditure. So what is expenditure? How much people spend. Who? The consumers. We're consumers. All of us are consumers. If we buy, then we consume, correct? So this one here, yes, what can you tell me? It says consumer expenditure in percentage for the United States in 2017 to 2018. So here in this one, what can we say? So very quickly, you're going to look which one is the highest? Housing. Which one is the second highest?
The second highest is
Transport. Which one is the lowest?
the lowest education.
Education, right? Education, not education.
Oh.
Education. Education. And what's the second lowest?
The second lowest is called and
Not
service.
clothes.
Clothes
Clothes and services. Correct?
and services.
Clothes
Clothes
and services.
and services.
Yes.
And services.
Yes, absolutely. You see? And that's it. Done.
Easy.
You're done. Easy. See, you overcomplicate it.
Yes.
So again, what are we going to say?
Make it, you always say make it easy.
Make it easy.
Make
Just
it
be
easy.
practical because you don't have much time. So again, you would say here, the highest is housing at about 33%. The second highest is transport at about 16%. The lowest is education at about 2.4%. The second lowest is clothes and services at about 3.1%.
And about
And then at about,
At about,
or
at
at around, or
Around.
approximately, or more or less,
okay.
right?
I got
In
it.
conclusion, the image is showing consumer expenditure in percentage for the United States 2017 to 2018. And you're done. See? So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to teach you, to go high, low. If you want to do comparatives, okay, you can do comparatives. You can say, for example, correct, the image is showing, or it shows people, but it's more complicated. You see, when you compare, it's easier to do the superlatives because one idea. If I use the comparatives, I would have to say, look, it shows people spend more money on housing than, let's say, education.
You need to organize the three sentences.
You've got to go back and forth. And so it also shows that people spend more on transport than food or insurance. It shows that people don't spend, to say, enough, or if you want to say people spend very little on education and clothes and services than, let's say, food. Correct? And you could say that. You could say, oh, it shows education is lower than food, than housing. It shows that housing is higher. There are so many different ways. There is no one way. It depends on what you want to say or how you look at the picture. And why do we say higher or lower? Because it's talking about
Money.
expenditure. Expenditure. Yes. Okay?
Teacher,
Good.
thank you so much.
Yes.
See you on
Thursday. Thursday at 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. See you guys. Good. Hope you feel better. Okay. So let's go here. Let's see. Page. This one.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye, Angela. You too. Take care. 88. Yes. So this is where you see your comparative. Yep, you've got it there. No, that one. 88. So 87 is just the basic rules done. So here you see it says, I'm taller than you. I think you all understand this, right?
Yeah.
here, this is what we were talking about. This is like a positive. She is always positive. She has, they have, she works, she lives. It can be anything you want, right? You can compare different things. When you say, for example, oh, teacher, where were you working before, Lina? Where were you working before? Oh, as a cleaner, right? And now you're in a warehouse. What can you tell me about the job? Are they different? Super different. See, much different. Why?
Because in my last job,
Yep. Or you could say previous job. Could be too.
I clean bathrooms, the toilets, and it's more difficult than in this job.
Than this job. So you're saying to me that this job is easier for you.
Yes, because it's where I drive machines.
Okay.
All time it's easy.
So easier or more interesting?
Easier and more interesting.
See? Because she says, oh, I'm driving machines everywhere. And she likes that. I can tell because her eyes straight away, I'm driving machines everywhere. She likes it. And so I can say, Lina, look what I'm going to say. Do you like this job more than the previous job?
Absolutely.
Right? And when she says absolutely, is that a little or is that a lot? So, of course, she says, absolutely. I enjoy this job more than, correct? Okay, good. So, easy. And so here, as you can see, we have always something is older than. You see, we use the is. Here, we're using the are. It's a question. It's usually when you're describing, you're using the is. Very different to say have. If I go, for example, I go, Suyen, she has more money than me. This now is possession because I'm saying that she has, as in possession, more money than me. Correct? And so here, you can also use different auxiliaries, like I can run, I can work, I can, to say, for example, let's say, if I say to you, oh, yesterday I walked 10 kilometers, you go, wow, you can walk much more than me. Like I walk, but you might go, I don't like to work. I walk a little and get tired. So, wow, you walk much more than me. To say, oh, yesterday I went walking. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, me too. So how long did you walk? Oh, I walked 10 kilometers. Oh, wow, you walked longer than me. Why? No, I only did 4 kilometers and I went home. Could be. So you could say longer, you could say more, you could say less, right? I could also say I walk less during the week because I don't have time. I walk more on the weekends. You see what I mean? And also you can use with the actions. And here you have your more or less. So when you go, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't speak English. To say, for example, oh, I'm so sorry, I speak English more or less. Right? You don't go so. How are you feeling today? Oh, so. No, more or less. I'm feeling more or less. Why is that? Oh, I have a little headache. Could be.
More or less.
Yes, because more is your more and the less is the less.
Teacher, that other form for say
To
more
say
or less,
the other way to say more or less.
but other word more professional.
More or less.
No, I listen other word.
Approximately. Professionally.
Yes.
No, say more or less.
So is
No, so
more or less.
you
but
shouldn't use. You
No.
shouldn't say so at any point because so doesn't exist. It is wrong. It is super wrong.
No, I forgot. When I use so.
Never.
Never. Never.
Never. It does not exist. It is horrible. It's not English.
¿Y de dónde salió eso, teacher?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know.
America?
Maybe some Mexican that went to America, couldn't pronounce something properly, and just, that's usually how those things come from. Let me see. A professional way for more or less. Let me see. Because I usually say more or less. Let me have a look. See, approximately, roughly,
What is
essentially,
roughly?
is more or less. Essentially, effectively, to a certain extent, relatively speaking. Are those the ones you've heard? No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Fairly?
Fairly. So fairly is kind of like roughly. So they're very, very similar. Could be. So you go fairly. More or less. Yeah, could be. It's like you're roughly. Say more or less. I think this one is more than this. This one's okay, but yeah, it's not very common, to be honest. Okay. And then you can also say the quantities, correct? To say this one is a bit, little difference, a bit bigger, or a little bit bigger, or you could say a little bigger. So you can use all those different variations. A bit, a little bit.
Little bit?
Same. It's all the same. But here, if there's a big difference, so we use much. And there you go. A bit bigger, a bit older, much better, much more difficult, much more expensive. And so we already did this last week. So now if you want to go negative, correct, we do the same, but you need to use not, as. Here, by the way, the not is not no. No is no. It's different. Not means negative, and we always conjugate the not with the auxiliary together. So, I'm just going to pop that. Okay. So here, a lot of people, they make the mistake of understanding that this is no, but it isn't no, okay? Because the not, we can conjugate, as I said. So we complement. So for example, when we go do not, of course, this is going to be don't. When you say does not, this is going to be doesn't. Yes? If I say, for example, cannot, then this is going to be can't. If you say will not, then it will be won't, etc. So this is what this not means. And I can use this in all these different times to say, for example, let's say you were saying, to say something. Lena lives close to the school, but not as close as Nicole. Right? To say, for example, Suyen can stay to work overtime, but not as late as you wished or expected. Could be. See? To say, the plane will be late, but not, but not as late as announced. To say something. So the not as, so in everyone was saying, you see, you need, this is the formula. Not as. Here is your adjective. Here, not, correct, as. Not as. So that is the formula, always. And and I tell you what, when people know how to use this, like, Lena was saying, the Japanese bridge is long, the Turkish bridge is long, but not as long as the Japanese one, that is a very high answer. To say to somebody that in an interview or something, it's like, oh, wow, this person has high-level English. Absolutely. Yeah. Because if I say to you, what was it like living in Argentina, for example? And so you might go, it was good. It was good. Maybe there weren't as many job opportunities as we had hoped. But yeah, it was okay. You could say also it was safe, but not as safe as Sydney or Australia, for example, right? To say people make money, but not as much as here. See what I mean?
Yes.
So that's something in a conversation, in a discussion, you would use, you would say. Pretty good. Yeah. It is. It's very interesting. And as I said to you, it demonstrates a high level. I know I'm showing you examples maybe at a low level, but the idea is for you to build. So this is why I'm saying to you, Don't overcomplicate yourself. You've got all these ideas. Start with something small and then go, okay, I've got this. Now I understand. Now, how can I expand? How can I make this idea more interesting? Can I say it this way, that way? And that's how you start dominating what you're doing, right? Okay, good. Do you want to copy that or I can erase it? Want to take a photo or anything before I erase? Yeah, it's good examples so you don't forget. Oh, it's for the soul. Okay, let's continue. And so here, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you, so normally people always look for the way to do this in a positive way. You're always going to do something in a positive way. When we were doing the exercise of you guys standing, she's taller, she's shorter. But you don't say, oh, she is short, or she's tall, but not as tall as, or she's short, but not as short as. You don't do that. You always look for the easy way, right? But what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, it's not that difficult. And if you can achieve, you're saying the same thing. Look, it says here, Rome is not as old as Athens. Is the same as Athens is older. The Grand Hotel isn't as expensive as the Europa. The Europa is more expensive. So you're saying exactly the same thing. I don't play, look, this one's with an action. So not just a description. I don't play tennis as often as you. You play more often. So meaning more times, right? The weather is better than it was yesterday. It isn't as cold as it was yesterday. And here is the many and much that you were asking about.
The weather is better than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So it isn't as cold.
Yeah. But here I could connect this if I wanted. I could say the weather is better than it was yesterday because it isn't as cold.
Yeah.
I could say that too.
Okay.
Yeah. And here you have much, many, so much uncountable, many countable. And so here we're going to go, I don't have as much money as you. You've got more money. I don't know as many people as you. You know more people. I don't go out as much as you. You go out more. And so then it says, look, compare. It's the same. The only thing is the ideas change, because in this one, you're being affirmative, you're being positive. In this one, you're saying the same, but this is why we twist to say Athens is older than Rome, but then you go Rome is not as old. And so here you have to be careful, because remember when you said, for example, oh, it's 500 meters less, and I said less, and you said, oh, I made a mistake. It was more, correct? Yeah. And so here, look, it says tennis. Well, football is more popular than tennis. So people always look for this one. This is more common. But then to say, yeah, tennis isn't as popular as football, and you go out more than me. I don't go out as much as you. And then we have also the same. If it's the same, it's the same. And here also with the same, we're going to use as. So, if we go, for example, to say something. Oh, I go, oh, what's your zodiacal sign? And you go, oh, I'm Pisces. Oh, me too. We're the same. We're the same zodiacal sign. Where do you live? Oh, Hertzville. Oh, me too. Oh, we live in the same suburb, right? But if you would go, for example, to say, how old are you? Oh, I'm 24. Oh, you are the same age as me, right? Yeah. And so here it's saying the weather today is the same as yesterday. My hair is the same color as yours. I arrived at the same time as Tom. Yeah. Good. Okay. So looking at these, let's see. What can we say? Yep, exercise. What can we say? Okay, so we've got 3 boxes. Yes? We've got A, B, and C. So we see that A is bigger than C, but, so A, say that A is bigger than C, but A is not as big as B. What are we going to say with this one? So we've got A, B, and C. So again, you have to see which one is the longest, which one is the shortest. So we're going to say A is longer than B, but not as, no, not longer, no, Alice, do not say longer. You don't need, that's positive. So longer than, you don't say as longer as, that doesn't make sense. So, but not as long as C. And there's your C, right? There. C, so we've got 10, 20, 15. So C is, yeah. How do we say pesado?
I don't know.
Heavy.
Heavy.
And if it's comparative, what are we going to say? Heavier. So C is heavier than A, but not as heavy as B, I think. C is heavier than A, but not as heavy as B. Yeah? So that's the same for you. That's the same for you, Lina. You work in warehouse. You say, oh, these boxes, oh, can you help me, please? Why? No, because those boxes are heavier than those. Oh, but I I don't think they're that to say. I don't think they're as heavy as you think. No. Look, the box says 50 kilos. They're heavier. See what I mean? Because I might go, no, go do it yourself. Like, but remember that also when you're working, like carrying boxes and things, there is a limit. There's a limit for age. There's a limit for weight. Okay, like in every country, it's regulated by law. Nobody can make you lift something that is too heavy, because if you damage your back or you get injured, they have to pay compensation. You know what I mean? So not the idea.
What is injured?
Injured.
Injured?
Lesionado. Yeah, write it down. So here it says, I'm 45, 50, and 40. So A is what?
Older.
Okay, so A is older than,
Sí.
yep,
But no,
but not
as
as old as B. Good.
Has got is more common in British.
So has got is British.
Yeah, is British.
Yes, the Americans only say has.
Yeah.
Have got is British, 100%. And if it's British, it's Australian and Canadian.
Australia
Uses all the British ways.
But has got?
Yes. When people say to me, usually I use both, because, you know, I've worked with Americans, I've worked with Canadians, all different people.
Yeah.
So they speak all different, right? And so I try to be diverse so they can understand me. But so when people say to me sometimes, oh, do you have children? I go, yeah, I've got 5. You know what I mean? Like it's super common for me. If I'm speaking naturally, I'm not thinking much about it, I'll say got all the time. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Number 5. Okay, so Yen, you want to try? So B has got.
B has got expensive.
No, not
Okay.
expensive. B has got.
Yo lo iba a comparar con el
So you've got 5,000, 4,000, 3,000.
second. O sea, el del medio, el del vida. No sé qué quieres que compare.
But look at the other examples, Suyen.
Yes, but solo dice que tengo 4,000, tengo 5,000, tengo 3,000.
¿Y cuál es la diferencia entonces?
Todos tienen 1,000 de diferencia.
No lo analizas tan así.
Bueno, o sea, y te digo que el B tiene menos, te puedo decir menos dinero o es.
Ok, pero podríamos decir correcto de que B tiene más dinero
Okay.
que C,
Te lo digo.
pero no tanto como A. ¿Y cómo voy a decir eso?
Okay. B has got more money.
More money, exactly.
That sí, but
Not
as money.
No.
Pero dije, yo tengo más dinero
Yeah.
que la.
Pero no tanto.
Pero no tanto. Pero no. But not as.
So how are you going to say that?
Sí.
See?
Yo dije, that, y no tengo que usarlo. But not as
much.
Much.
So B has got more money than C, but not as much as A.
Much.
Okay, and what about the last one? So Alice, do you want to try the last one? Yeah, do you want to try it?
Work harder than
work or works?
Works. harder than A.
Okay, so C works harder than
A.
A, okay, but
As
not
but not as hard
yep
than
as
as
B.
B.
Good. Oh, yeah, B. That's right. Because here you see it says I don't work very hard, and this is I work hard, but not too hard. And this is I work very hard. So yeah, so you would say C works, and so you would say harder than a C. Oh, sorry,
No.
than A. Sorry, but not as hard as B. And that's it.
Yeah.
And let's say the rest for homework. So you can practice. And that way, if you have any questions, you come to school, it's like, oh, I didn't understand this. How do I do this? Okay? Yep. And so this is where we're continuing this week. All good? Yes. Okay. Thank you for coming. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.